Dr. Donovan here, and today we're going to be talking about walking speed as the sixth vital sign. So before we unpack this, I'd like to say I'm really excited for this video because there's a little bit of something for everyone. From the person that already walks 5 miles a day, all the way to the person who may not feel comfortable walking outside. Whether you walk with an assistive device or you speed walk for exercise, this video has something for you. We're going to be talking about tests that you can do today that can help gauge your functional abilities and help with predictive health status in the future. So things you can track over time as they relate to your walking speed. So I'm excited for this because it's such an easy thing to test for at home, and it gives you so much information.
That was easy.
Probably the second or third thing that I collect at my initial evaluation for pretty much any older adult. Walking speed or mobility performance has emerged as a surrogate marker of overall health and functional ability among older adults. So this has been proven in the research time after time. One, it's really easy to capture, and we've been walking for a long time. For me as a physical therapist, it's a complex activity with many moving parts. It involves motor control, muscle performance, sensory and perceptual function, habitual activity level. You can also get a little bit of mental health and environmental control as it relates to measuring walking speed. In terms of the predictive health status, which I mentioned just a minute ago, for example, if you have one certain gait speed, which is another word for walking speed, your post-hospital discharge location, so say you go in for a knee replacement or an emergency surgery, whatever your walking speed going in was, is predictive of your hospital discharge location 78% of the time. So if there's not more reason to be walking fast and walking often now, I hope this video will get you moving. If you have pain with walking, you might want to seek medical attention before you continue to work on your walking, because maybe something relating to your pain, whether it's in your hip or your back or your knee or your ankle, can help you walk faster just by taking care of that pain. So we're going to get right into some tests that you can do at home. When people come to my clinic, we measure this, but it's also something you can do in the comfort of your own home. So we're going to create this little walk, like a runway, and that runway is going to have 3 parts: an acceleration zone, a timed section, which you'll need a stopwatch for, or a deceleration zone. And you don't actually need a stopwatch in your timer feature of your phone. It should have something to record time. So we're going to watch a quick video of me setting this up in the clinic. I use 2 cones and then a 10-foot tape measure. And the instructions for this. Go ahead again. So you can see this is the acceleration zone, this is the time zone, and then this is the deceleration zone. The instructions, as you'll do it at home, are to walk at a comfortable pace, and that's it. And then you're going to measure 3 repetitions and calculate the average time. So let's say for this instance, it was 4.3, 4.1, and 3.9 seconds in that time section. So her average would be 4.1 in terms of getting that 10 feet. The 10 feet is in 4.1, and there'll be a little math equation here in a second as well. So that's how we're going to test walking speed at home. If you don't have a 10-foot walkway inside, like in a hallway, you might measure it on the flattest surface you can outside with the least amount of curbs and steps and ramps. And so a driveway usually works, or if you feel comfortable in the street. The title of this today's lecture is Walking Speed as the Sixth Vital Sign. So it's important to consider the other 5, which are all typically things that you'll get measured at your primary care physician's office. And I would argue that they should be gathering gait speed as just as an important of a measure. The other 5 are going to be heart rate, blood pressure, pulse, respiration rate, height, and weight. So always things that you get measured at the doctor's office, and it gives us a lot of information. And also walking speed is a strong indicator for multiple system assessment and management, just like blood pressure and respiration rate. There are different system demands for multiple organ systems that go into this gait speed measure. We're getting contribution from your heart, your lungs, your circulatory, your nervous systems, and then your bones and joints as well. The only vital sign, walking speed, that you can't take a pill for. So it's something that you have to go out and improve and be proactive in measuring it and improving it. But of course, it doesn't stand alone to predict any sort of disease. It is just one of many pieces of how we can improve our health and functional abilities as we age. So we're going to do one more test here called the timed up and go. So for this, you'll need a chair, the cone, and the tape measure. So you can use that same 10-foot distance, but at one end, you're going to put a chair, and ideally that chair is about 18 to 20 inches high. So the test here is that you're going to go from sitting to standing. You're going to walk around that cone and back to seated. And I have a demonstration for you today. Ready, set, go. And you're walking as fast as you can at a comfortably fast speed. You can't hit the cone, and you can't use your arms to go from sitting to standing. Of course, you all are your own test subject. So if you need your hands to get up out of a chair, just make a note of that, so that when you measure this again in a few months or a few weeks, you can remember that you used your hands or not. So I get a lot of questions about this timed up and go test, so we're going to do it. We're going to give one more run through on this guy. Ready, set, go. So sit to stand with no hands, walk around the cone and back. The time will start when you say go. Ideally, somebody else is recording this for you. Of course, you can do it yourself. You'll get a pretty good idea of the time. And we're gonna keep moving. You got your walking speed in feet per second, which is always going to be 10 feet over the time it took you to walk those 10 seconds in that time zone. So let's say it was 4 seconds, that would be 2.5 feet per second. And then the tug is the timed up and go. That's the test we just did from the chair. And from that, we can derive a lot of great information. So if you haven't seen the video on fun, functional, frail, and failure, I encourage you to watch that because it relates to our lifespan of health. And that graph is included here. We will link to that video so you can be up on that video knowledge. So we can use the information we got from the tug and walking speed to give us an applicable zone for where you might be at. So that person that walks 5 miles a day and does speed walking, I would probably characterize that person in the fun or functional zone. So hopefully those objective measures that we just recorded correlate to the times that we see here. So less than 8 seconds for the tug and greater than 4.9 feet per second for that fun category. And the challenge that I asked on the last on the lifespan of health episode was to improve your position by one zone. So if you're in the functional zone, what can you do to get to the fun zone? And this is how we kind of measure where you're at currently. So some things that we might use to go from functional to fun are strength training, flexibility training, agility, and there'll be more videos relating to improving those your lifespan zone of where you're at now. Just to wrap up this episode, the homework is to test your 10-foot walking speed at home. And I gave a little bit more information that is written here, finding your comfortable and your fast speeds. You're going to divide 10, which is the number of feet, by the time to get your speed in feet per second, and then take that tug test. So that'll be in seconds, 8.6, 10.2, and then you're going to write that down. You're going to use these numbers to track your progress over time and try to figure out what zone you're in right now. There's several other measures that we're going to use that correlate with those zones as well, which you can find on the channel, and keep in touch on the exercises that we're going to use to help you get to that next level.